So this week I got to play a course called Avila Golf Course. It's actually a golf club resort, and it is in Central California, approximately 100 miles south of Carmel, maybe 200 miles south of San Francisco on the west coast. And it's actually a pretty nice part of the country, of the state. I certainly enjoyed the trip out there, and it's a fairly picturesque. It's kind of moderately west coasty looking with the desert environment and so forth, architecture, real estate. But I think the course was on the far side of a large patch of agricultural land between Santa Barbara and San Francisco, or Carmel definitely. A decent ride out there. There's quite a few places to go to the beach in the area. I think it's a decent trip, and I certainly enjoyed the trip out there and the trip back, and the golf wasn't bad either. So let me look at some of the shots of the course that I have here so I can refresh my memory as I go along. Now it starts off and has a decent, modest section of beach along a bridge that runs between the back side of the course and the front side of the course, and a decent little pro shop and restaurant bar and everything that's actually right behind like a cove of the beach there on the right, on the north side of the town, and it's actually pretty decent, nice, and even in the winter the weather was pretty decent. It was definitely nice and warm. Fully enjoyed it. Have no problem at all recommending that course. It's sort of a cross between Massanutten in northern Virginia along I-81, and of course I played out on I guess the border of West Virginia. I reviewed it last winter, actually this last spring in like March, I think. Very similar mountainous course, lots of hills coming up and down the sides, and though Massanutten is definitely much more of an intense course to play on, this one was definitely pretty mellow. It was a good course. So I guess the front nine is a pretty decent challenge. Definitely lots of scenery, and also the day I played it was pretty crowded. I think even at 2:30 on a Saturday it was still pretty crowded, but some decent introductory holes, a good set of straightaway holes cut on the side of hills, and dogleg lefts and so forth with good elevation. And then you get to site 4, 5, and 6, and it runs along behind a set of houses that overlook the course. And there's some nice holes there also. And then you come back on 6, 7, and 8, and 9 back to the clubhouse. And that's where things really start to get interesting. It's on the back 9. There is a river, sort of something larger than a stream, not quite a river. It's more like maybe 20 yards wide, that runs through the backside in a winding manner. And the backside basically plays along this river. It runs down on one side and comes back on the other side. And I think it's definitely picturesque, definitely some nice shots, good challenging shots from even the white tees, like on a dogleg left and so forth. And on the 10th hole is a dogleg left. And then it continues to dogleg and run back and forth down the river and back up the other side. And it's a good challenge. The course is basically not too wide on the front, and on the back it widens up a little bit more. But you have to be careful on the front, certainly, to make sure you don't pull shots off to the left into the trees and waste, or off to the right, and have it go into the little stream that runs down through the middle of the front side. Very easy to go into that. There's definitely not a lot of width on the fairways on the front side. On the back side, it's certainly wider, giving you more of an opportunity to take bigger shots. But there's also a lot of road noise because the road that goes to the course passes around the back side of the course. There's a lot of traffic there going to the town, which is just left of the golf resort. And it does get noisy on, I would say, 13, 14, 15, 16, but it's not too bad. There's actually sort of a netting and a small stand of high trees and so forth that blocks most of the road vision from the course, but you still can see the cars going by, and you can still see the cars can still see the course, so it's certainly not a non-factor. And then there's also a running trail that runs through the course, so it's kind of weird. There's actually a sizable running trail that goes around through the course from the beach resort area and cuts across the backside of the course. And so there's opportunities. I remember one hole, I guess, was the 11th hole tee box. It's right in front of the trail, and there's people talking and bouncing and so forth, and you're playing the 11th hole, and there's people up on the sides on the left talking and so forth while you're trying to play. It's definitely distracting, and it's okay. I mean, it's not the kind of thing that I would take too seriously, but it's still a decent challenge golf, and nice views, and certainly picturesque. But you still, you can't get too wound up because there's just too much noise to really relax and get out there and think you're by yourself on most of the course. Probably the whole backside, I would say, either the first 3 holes and the last 3 holes on the backside have this trail running through it, and then the middle 3 holes have the road right next to it. So you definitely can't get too wound up on this course. You have to relax, go out there and play, and it is a good challenge technically. It's about a slip 132 course, but again, you can't let the environment get under your skin and ruin your game. But overall, in the overall sense, I would say it was a fun course to play. It's about 6,500 yards long, so not too long, 8 even from the back tees, and a decent sort of eye candy kind of course. Definitely a decent challenge in terms of technical course, but it's not that hard. It's a good course, but I would give it probably a B minus, considering all the distractions. The front side is definitely quieter than the back, but I wouldn't say the front is really all that great of a front side. There's a lot of blind shots. It's good if you've played it before, because then you know what's what, but this course definitely has a lot of blind shots. Whereas the backside is open, definitely more amenable to first-time players, but there is a lot more noise. So overall, I'd say a B minus. I didn't get a chance to try the food there because the guy who manages the restaurant closes it at 4 o'clock, so he can go play 9. And I got there at 2:30, so there wasn't much of an opportunity to do that other than stopping right after the front side, which we didn't want to do because that helped us to get ahead of a bunch of foursomes that we were stuck behind. I was basically playing with another single. So all in all, it was a good experience. It was 55 with a cart at 2:30 twilight, but basically a good, fun round, a casual, fun round. That's Avila Golf Course in Avila, California.